Hey, this is Dave Pryor. We are live
Okay.
at Agile 2019 in the leading Agile booth. Bas Vodde is here. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for
Fine.
coming by.
Thank you again. It's been 2 years since last time. Huh?
Yeah. Well, no, we just did one in September
We did one in September.
at the LeSS conference. Yes, but
in
for
New
another
York, yeah.
podcast. So no, nothing in
Yes.
2 years. So we're going to talk about some particulars of LeSS. Before we do that, I want to mention two things in particular. One is that you've got a conference coming up.
We have what?
A conference.
Conference coming up.
Yes.
So tell me about it.
I don't know anything about it. I'm asking questions. You have to provide answers.
Oh, okay.
That's our working agreement.
That's like
Yeah,
an
that's how this
interview.
works. Yes. So when's the conference?
September,
And where's it going to be?
Munich.
Okay. Not
LeSS
New York this
conference.
time.
No.
Okay.
Fourth LeSS conference.
Okay.
Super excited. Team-based conferences. You joined last time.
Yeah.
People joined the conference.
And you got
as
another
a team.
eclectic place to have it?
It's in Munich, so guess what it
Okay.
is?
I don't know.
Of course, a beer brewery.
Oh, that's excellent. All right. And last time it was in an old church.
Ancient beer brewery.
That's very cool.
And I'm super excited because usually we prefer experience reports.
Right.
And this year there were so many experience reports that we had to decline a lot of them. So
Okay.
the amount of experience reports in the program is quite
And that's great because it
amazing.
speaks to the growth of LeSS and the people that are using it and the different things you're learning about it.
Yeah, and it's mostly we want people to learn from experience, not
Okay.
just have workshops
Not
all the
just
time
reading a
like
book.
here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And there's also I'm gonna say it the way I said it before, and you can correct me. You also have a booth here.
I do not have a booth here. There is a LeSS related booth here.
Okay. So can you explain for the folks that may not be familiar with this how the LeSS community works and how something like that would happen?
Well, the LeSS community is just like a community. Luckily, I'm happy that a lot of people are very passionate within the community. And what happened actually with the previous conference, the Scrum Gathering,
Right.
some people of the community said that there's not enough promotion and awareness of LeSS.
Right.
And that they wanted to have a booth at the conference.
Okay.
And I said, well, we're not actually planning to come, but nothing prevents the community from having a booth about the topic that they're passionate about. And they asked, do you guys want to fund it? And that was not a problem, of course. So he said,
Okay.
sure, we'll fund it. And you guys organize everything, decide what's on there.
That's awesome.
And that's why they call it the Fence of LeSS
Okay.
booth
And
rather than
MJ
the
sitting
LeSS
over
booth.
there with some other people. helping
MJ
promote
and
this?
a bunch of the trainers and candidate trainers there
Okay.
jumping in and out and helping
spread the
people
word.
Spread the word and
Okay.
mostly answering questions.
Okay.
to people.
So this community is different than a lot of other communities where there's a parent organization that decides we're going to sponsor here, we're going to sponsor there. Your entire community is very kind of grassroots driven. People want stuff, you help them get it.
Well, there is still a parent organization. It's kind of independent from the community, but
Okay.
one of the biggest problems that the parent organization, which I'm working with and Craig is working
Yeah.
with, one of the problems is that we enjoy actual coaching too much. So I
Okay.
spend most of my time, and Craig spends most of their time, coaching in LeSS adoptions.
Okay. So helping people do it as
Helping
opposed to just
people do
running
that.
the organization.
As opposed to spending time promoting and marketing and things like that.
So it's a community of very passionate practitioners.
So the company is very small, the mother company, and then there's a community of passionate people about LeSS who don't really care about the company,
Okay.
and especially the community about people who would like to give LeSS trainings in the future is fairly
Okay.
large, and that's the community where they decided, you know what, we understand that you guys haven't been focused enough on promotion, but
Okay.
we think it, like somebody quoted, we think this is the best kept secret in Agile development, and we want to promote it more. And do you guys mind if we do that? So he said, oh, sure. I mean,
That's awesome.
and do you guys want to does the company want to provide the financial support for the community to do that? And we're like,
Maybe
sure,
we'll do that too. Okay, cool.
That's no problem.
So I want to ask you a very specific question about LeSS.
Okay.
And I'm going to phrase it a little differently than I did when we talked beforehand. When people ask me about the role of the product owner in LeSS in class, and I am not well versed enough in it to speak to this, they often ask about if I have multiple product owners and some kind of parent product owner.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, if you've got, whether it's 8 teams is where it splits, right? That's when you go to large.
If there's
more than 8 teams, it's less.
Yeah, but that's not very relevant for what a product owner does. So it's easiest to first just understand it from a less than 18 perspective, and then after that you can your next question can be, so Bas, if you have more than 8 teams, how do you then do that?
All right, so we'll come back to that then. What is the product owner's job?
Well, the product owner's job in LeSS is exactly what it is in Scrum. It is precisely what it is in Scrum, and not much more of the additional things.
Okay.
But one of the key things is that in the LeSS community, it's considered to be an exceptionally bad idea to have a product owner per team. Right? It is called
I'm curious.
Product owner, and it's not called team owner in the first place.
Okay.
And so you have one product backlog per product.
Yeah.
Which is actually defined in the Scrum guide.
Yeah.
You have one product owner for the entire product.
But the product might be worked on by multiple teams.
The product is in a LeSS adoption is by definition worked on by multiple teams. So otherwise it would be Scrum.
I'm assuming that the product owner comes up with a technique for prioritizing or ordering the backlog?
So one of the keys for many people to understand the difference in how the product owner is often misapplied is that in LeSS, a product owner avoids doing any kind of requirements clarification for the teams.
Okay.
Instead, we would like the teams to be as close to the business or users as possible, and do most of the clarification themselves.
Okay.
Directly with, and sometimes in LeSS we use the phrase requirements donor.
Donor, okay.
Which is, roughly wherever the requirements came from, which is not always the users or customers.
Okay.
And this is like in my, I spent 1.5 years working for a bank.
Okay.
And one of the big things to do was to help the teams understand the business domain much, much better, so that the teams themselves were not, coding people, but they were product developers who understand the domain of the product, and they understand the problems that they have.
Right.
And they don't then anymore implement stated requirements.
Okay.
But they understand the problem that they're solving.
And they can go collect the requirements they need.
And they come up with the solutions for those problems, ideally together with whomever is going to use the product.
Okay. And they don't have to wait for somebody else to bring that to them.
No, you like in practice, what I've seen in many organizations is where the product owner doesn't invent the requirements, the backlog items themselves, but instead acts as kind of a go-between wherever the requirements come from. And in LeSS, we say that kind of go-between, this kind of handoff from a lean perspective is just wasteful. And we want that responsibility in the team.
Okay.
And if you look at the product owner role in Scrum, the original meaning, it focuses on vision, return of investment, prioritization, direction. And that's what a product owner does. And that's what you cannot do on a team level anyway.
Okay. All right. That makes a lot of sense.
Now, Dave, what is your next question?
My next question, Bas, is what if I have more than 8 teams?
Good
what
question.
If I'm dealing with less than the large?
So with about 8 teams, you always you can get away with
one PO.
One product owner.
Okay.
Once you get above that, sometimes the amount of things is too much for the product owner to wrap their head around.
Okay.
And then in less huge, which is the variant above around 8 teams,
Okay.
You start grouping the requirements in customer-centric areas.
Okay.
These areas are not related to technology, but purely related to the customer domain.
Okay.
They sometimes are different user groups,
Right.
or different markets, or different business processes in banks. That happens quite often. And then the teams are structured around that.
Okay.
And then there is the only additional role in less huge, which is an area product owner,
Okay.
who acts as a product owner, but then from one view, one perspective of the
Right.
product.
And are they over other product owners? Maybe not, I'm not saying in a hierarchy perspective, but it's their job to help those other product owners stay in sync.
Because they're completely customer-centric,
Right.
there's nearly no synchronization between these areas.
Okay.
Because the synchronization is on implementation, and that is done by the teams directly, but that is not
Okay.
the responsibility of the product owner.
So it's maybe small shifts, but important shifts in the role from a traditional Scrum guide based implementation, as most people understand it. I'm trying to ask it in a way that's not going to be like.
Well, no, in the
Yeah.
LeSS community, we are happy to have a lot of very long-term Scrum proponents who've been using and training Scrum for a long time. And many of them tell me that they're attracted by LeSS because it's Scrum done right. It's the way it should have done. And they even sometimes promote this a concept of LeSS for one team, where you take the minor changes in Scrum
and bring it down to one. Okay.
and bring that back to one team again, and make sure that also in Scrum, the product owner is done in the way it should be done, which is better clarified in LeSS.
Awesome. This is great. So if people want to learn about the conference, they just go to LeSS.works?
LeSS.works.
And if they want to learn about LeSS, they just go to LeSS.works?
Or they join one of the LeSS practitioner courses,
which they can find out about at
LeSS.works.
And if they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
They will probably need to Google email Bas Vodde, and then they'll find my email and they'll send me an email. Or you go to LeSS.works and you go to a course and you say, contact the trainer. And then I'll get that.
All right, this is great. Thank you for coming by and doing the interview. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if people want to know more about the product owner thing, so Michael James, one of the people, Michael, one of the people who is very active in the LeSS community, he's created a video and a booklet about the misconceptions of the product owner that kind of run through a lot of that. Okay. And the booklet is at the Fence of LeSS booth here.
Thank you for hanging out.
I'm
going to go get a book right now.
I'll bring you one.
Awesome. All right. See ya.